look into that. I'm sure you know the date when this thing was started, but I know that I think that Eric had nobody in the sense that was stupid enough to take on the role of being the front guy, and nobody smart would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, like if people think, like, I'm not saying Eric, I mean, there's a lot of people saying the show's never going to take off. It's just, it's going to be another, I was looking for that date, August 27, 2016, when they canceled out that thing. I personally think the show will happen. And I think that, I'm not saying he's even going to be there, but I know facts. And the facts are he is still the guy. It's the fucking Wizard of Oz trick, man. It's the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you don't want to believe the theory about him closing up shop and taking the money, then the other theory about this GoFundMe account, which was created a little less than a week ago, was that Eric, like I said, mentoring them is going to be mentoring them for a year until they raise the money, and I guess maybe that $25,000 is going to be what they're going to use to take over the company.
That's the number he wanted for the company.
Right.
It was $25,000. That's what he wanted.
Right. So
for the brand.
That's the other theory you can say is that, all right, they're going to try to raise $25,000. Pleska's going to allow them to, do whatever they're going to do with the company. Is everything, if everything's vendored out. But like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't look good or bad on Pleska because he's going to claim he's got nothing to do with it. And when they have the money, they're going to give it to Pleska, and I guess maybe Pleska is going to walk away. But my question was, why use the PWS name? If you got two failed wrestling companies that never even got off the ground, why wouldn't you just use the money and raise money to start your own name, your own brand? Why are you buying a brand that already failed and that was dead?
And he doesn't even have the original components of anything that was potentially in the original brand, with the exception of a few guys that will probably go there. And it's like, my stance, I have to say this, I was told to say this, but it's not, what I say doesn't reflect any of the boys that work for me, or, I hope everybody that goes there makes a lot of money. But I know what you're saying is right. Why not just start something else? If that's the case. Is PWS LLC in New Jersey? Is it incorporated? Is it a corporation? Is it a partnership? Because nothing I see has it anywhere. That's how I'm looking at it. I mean, I don't think that. I just from what I know and from what I've heard and from what I've been privileged to, I know that he's not leaving this game at all. I mean, you might have the front man, but and he could say, "Oh, I'm just booking it," or "I'm just behind, the scenes." But there's no way in hell. Eric's fucking. Am I allowed to curse on this gimmick? I forgot.
Yeah, you are.
Well, Eric's fucking motto was P.T. Barnum, there's a sucker born every fucking day. Mm-hmm. And that's his fucking motto. So, he just found a new sucker that's going to come out there and say, "Hey, I own PWS." This fucking guy doesn't own his balls. That's the truth, man. The fucking truth.
And how does anybody fall for this shit? Because everybody knows his reputation from being a jerk, being awful with the public, even his own fan base, not allowing wrestlers to wrestle in other companies only for him, being assholes with vendors, never refunding people for canceled shows like on that August 27th show.
Yep.
And selling fake autographs.
Fake autographs.
I mean, how much more negative can you be that somebody would actually want to be partners or buy anything from this guy? I mean, I don't. And now I got to ask you a question though. A while back there was a picture of the PWS belts posted on Facebook where it said that PWS was for sale, blah blah blah, and then there was rumors that you bought it. There was rumors that Chad Menendez bought it. There was rumors that GCW bought it. I mean, there was rumors out the yang. Now, where are those belts? Does he still have them, or did somebody actually buy the belts?
Well, if he actually sold it, they would buy the belts. But he's got from what I know, he's got all the belts, so the belts will be right there at they'll be in Metuchen on his fucking show. And what the key word of what you just said was partnership.
Right.
You know, that's the key word of the whole thing. And you know, at the end of the day, I think he just selected a guy with a bad history that if it fucking tanks, he just basically has nothing to do with it. If they believe that, I mean, Eric Pleska might not even show up to fucking Metuchen. But if people believe that this guy is not behind it, you have a better shot of Elvis Presley being alive, brother. And I wish he was, but that's the truth. The actual truth.
I think he'll be there. I mean, he might not be walking around out in the front. He might be behind the scenes in the back, because like I said, if it does go south, he can just slide out the back door. Or if it goes great, he'll be the first one out there wanting a pat on the back. So he's got too much of an ego not to be there.
I mean, it's a heavy building to run. You know, it's not one of those buildings that, you know, you're paying $6,000 to $1,000 to rent.
Right.
It's a, you know, and I looked at the poster, and I've talked to people just, you know, that are on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they basically have said, you know, Eric reached out to me. I've had vendors reach out to me and say, Eric tried to get me to vend. The whole mentoring theory is good, and it sounds good. And that's what I would go with, too, if I was him, or maybe what you'd want the general public to believe. But, you know, I know he did get a lot of people to try to buy it, but, you know, nobody fucking with a brain would do it. You know, like, and that's the thing. But this guy, see, I didn't know about the other stuff with the other companies. I knew he had the falling out with Tier 1.
Right.
And that, you know, he's with the GoFundMe, and I guess and that the amount that Eric was looking for to get the company sold. This is just a vessel to make money.
He was also with House of Glory after he left Tier 1, and then they... I
didn't even know that.
Yeah, utilized him for whatever. Well, basically, he went there, and he shit all over Tier 1, and did some video work for them, and I guess when they were done getting what they wanted out of him, they cut ties with him, and that's when he started his own company. Another question I want to ask you regarding, you know, because you... Chad Menendez used to work with PWS and Pat and Eric, and whatever falling out they had, I don't really give a shit. But now, you know, he was with you for a little bit. I guess he's doing whatever now. But why is he supporting the return of PWS now?
Well, Chad is still a big part of SWF with the, you know, the brand extension in Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I think that is going to, you know, take life of its own. But you know, what he does as far as, you know, we share two different stances on this, I think. But you know, I guess we're allowed to. Right. You know, but my stance is, you know, my stance, and I think Chad supports it for, you know, whatever reason he supports it. But, you know, we don't agree on everything, but we can agree to disagree, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I gotta ask you this regarding SWF. I don't know how much truth it is. You know the way people talk, so I heard it. So I want to ask, is there any truth that Chad is leaving SWF and going to Game Changer Wrestling?
No, not at all. Not at all. Chad is 100% behind, you know, the brand, and Chad supports independent professional wrestling. I mean, he was at CZW yesterday for their show. He goes to the GCW stuff. I mean, you know, what he does on his own time and his own dime is on him. You know, oh fuck, hold on, brother. The T just nailed me. You know, but basically, you know, there's no truth to that. I mean,
now is he still remaining with you, or is he just going to do selective shows? Because I know he's involved in that June 10th show in Atlantic City, but he wasn't involved in booking anything for a couple of shows prior. One specifically, this last Friday when the Twisted Sisters were in.
Well, yeah, Chad's Chad really, to be honest, and on the shoot, he wanted to do something, and step out on his own, and he believes in the brand and believes in the guys that work here, and when it came down to it, he's still very much here, but it's on a basis of how can I put this? It's on a basis of on stuff that he wants to be here for. Mm-hmm. So we still have a good relationship. It's not like where there's any kind of heat there or any kind of break in communication. The SWF brand is in Atlantic City. I think it's going to be in Atlantic City for a long time, just like wherever else. But on those selective shows, like Atlantic City is not funded by me. That's not those shows are being done in a different way on stuff that he wanted to invest in and that I wouldn't invest in. And I think that it's good for the brand, but I think a lot of people wanted there to be the crazy normal type of split, and that didn't happen. And everything's still cool, man.
All right, so I mean, just basically, he's got some creative ideas and he's running with it in one direction. You got creative ideas, you're running it in a different direction, but all in all, it's the same company.
Yeah, it's still one and the same. It's a matter of he works about 1,000 hours a week. I've never seen a guy work harder on a shoot job than he does, and it's and for me, taking the company out and doing 3-4 shows a month like we've been doing, or 3 a month, it's hard at the same time for him too to get out there and be at all the shows and do all that stuff. So it was just a mutual thing where he wanted to go out and step out and create something of a vision for the Atlantic City, and I think it's cool because there's really been nothing in AC for a long time, and it's a different vision of what I would have booked, but it's something that I can appreciate, because I think it's going to be great for fans in that area of wrestling and the stuff that he's got creatively coming up, and I'll be in Atlantic City, and it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, and you get a little bit of you get the Jersey Shore base, you get the South Jersey base, you get a little of the Philly base, so you're kind of in a good area to draw different fan bases from different areas, and plus it's kind of convenient if you decide after the show you want to spend the night at the Trop. And
see that, brother? You got my whole MO down.
Yeah,
really easy.
Do a little gambling, wake up, have a little breakfast buffet, and then head home.
But I think that I could never, in a sense, I wouldn't feel right if I prevented a man from, going out and putting a vision that he wants to come to life and see that. And I was, very grateful in the sense of he could have went other places and chose to work with other companies, but he wanted to remain loyal to the SWF brand and brand that in Atlantic City. And I think that's cool, and I'm all for it, man.
All right, that's good. Now, how does this affect with getting back to the return of PWS or whatever you want to call it? The rebirth. Now, how does this affect the fan base and other companies in that Metuchen area? Because I know there's multiple companies that run in that area, and if PWS decides to say, "Hey, Metuchen Sportsplex, that's our home now," how does that affect other companies, and also the $20 all tickets? How does that affect other companies?
This is when I snap. Because, here's what it comes down to. I mean, I'm only in that area probably 3 or 4 times a year. And I usually use that particular area to kick off a double shot weekend. So, for me, the company, SWF, the home base is the Jersey Shore. That's primarily where we are. As we ventured to Atlantic County and some stuff up in North Jersey. But, even for me, it's a stick and move type deal where I know, this is a fucking war zone. This is going to become a war zone. So when you get this guy with vendor talent, and I just had this conversation with Sims 4 days ago. You know, but when you get the